Okay, mute here, mute here. Bring up the video. Let's see. Alright, so good morning, or afternoon, good day. I've adjusted my resolution in Kerbal Space Program, 1440 by 900 or something close to that, so I can see a little bit better. I've ordered a headset and microphone and all of that, so this might be the last, today or tomorrow, maybe Monday, might be the last times my sound quality is as poor as it is. And also one of the last times I won't be able to hear as well as I would like to. Today's plan is a dual stream a little bit later. I don't know how it's going to work, but myself and Al18267 are planning on dual streaming a little Kerbal Space Program. He is not where I am at in career mode, so we may do some sandbox, although I'd rather not. He may quote-unquote cheat his way to this portion of the tech tree, and we can stream together, although he's against it. But as far as I'm concerned, if you just make a separate file and unlock everything, and you only use that file to dual stream, so we can do the same things together, I don't see what the big deal is. Or we might just start a science mode together or something like that. I'm not really sure. But he wants to eat lunch because it's lunchtime. So for now I'm going to be working on my own project here. The last time I was on, I accepted this contract to build a space station. And so that's what I plan on doing. And we're going to bring it up little bits at a time. The first ship we're going to make is going to be, we're going to get the viewing cupola to come up. And that's about it. The second ship, well, we'll do some other things, but as far as crew goes, it's just going to be the one person in the viewing cupola. Let's hire some new astronauts. Let's bring in Shertray and Diberta. Let's bring an engineer. I guess he's the only one. Shadows. And maybe one more. How about Sonbrett? And that cost us, I don't know how much money. Doesn't matter, we have 4.5 million, so we might be down to like 3.5 million. Okay, so we're going to need 7 Kerbals. What we're going to do is have the cupola, because we need one here. And we also need a research lab. The research lab will hold 2. We're not going to bring that up just yet. And then what we'll probably bring up for the last 4 is this storage container, or crew capsule, or whatever you want to call it. But in the meantime, we're going to bring up a little bit of science, a lot of bit of science, basically everything we can do with science. We're going to bring up, except for the processing lab, we're going to bring up the power, the antenna, the heat radiators, lights. We may bring up some fuel cells. I haven't used them yet. And then the next few ships will be, I don't know how many it'll be. It's going to be at least 2. And maybe only 2. We're also going to need a docking port. And I'm just gonna, let's start with the service bay first. So inside the service bay, we're gonna bring the Science Junior. We're going to bring a mystery goo. We're going to bring the barometer, an atmospheric fluid spectrometer, sure. We can bring the gravioli detector. We can bring a temperature. We're not going to be using a lot of this, not in Kerbin orbit, because we already have the science, but we're going to bring it up anyways. You know, I'm going to stick with the old classic Communitron 1600. It works well in the service bay, and I can have a few extra. Okay. I don't plan on doing anything else when it comes to like surveying for ore. I mean, I guess I could, but I just don't really want to. Not for this space station. Not now, at least. We will want to bring up a significant amount of power. I think 8,000 is enough. Oops. And we do want to bring up a significant amount of monopropellant to use, to transfer, to replenish, whatever. We will also need 4,000 units of liquid fuel to complete this contract. So we have the antenna, we can generate power, we still need the docking port, and we will need a lot of fuel. I plan on bringing that fuel up separately. 4,000 units is quite a bit, and that's just liquid fuel, not liquid fuel plus oxidizer. Okay, so let's see about what kind of docking port we're going to use. I don't want to cover up the viewing cupola. What's the point of bringing it if you're going to cover it up? And I understand that it's required for the contract, but still, I don't want to have to do it. Now what we could do is use a large docking port here and just detach. Have another one here. Come on, attach. And detach once we get into orbit, and then come back up with the next ship. And I'm thinking I might actually end up doing that. Another option is to save this. Let's see. I could save this as a subassembly, the service bay, and bring it up with the next ship. And oh gosh, let's see. I kind of lost my train of thought with why I wanted to consider doing that. Well, it doesn't really matter. We can bring it up now, or we can bring it up later on. So, the orange tank holds 2880 of liquid fuel. We're going to need at least one of these, plus the 1440. How much is that? I wish I had Kerbal Engineer down here to tell me. I mean, that is over 4,000. So if we had these filled to the brim, we would be good. Okay. But that'll be the next ship up. So this is going to be our orbital insertion stage. Okay, so we're going to need... I'm bringing lights this time. I keep forgetting, but I won't forget anymore. There will be lights on board. I guarantee it, and now watch me forget. That is enormous. I've never used these before. I don't know what they look like when they deploy. Will my service bay... I mean, I could still access it from the side here, but will it be covered up? Will I be able to even open it? I'm not certain. So why don't we put them here? And action groups. We'll have plenty of power and probably much more thermal radiation than we need. Or the ability to radiate thermally much more than we need to. But that's okay. Now, let's put a gigantic, enormous fairing on this huge monstrosity. First, let's use this stack separator, because I want to. That's a lot. That's pretty big. Parachutes missing, we don't need that. Docking ports, I wouldn't say they're used as decouplers. They are being used. I will be able to undock and let this space junk float. So what I'm going to do is go into orbit, and then with my RCS, I will put myself on a suborbital trajectory, decouple so this stage goes back to the planet, and then with the RCS, go back into an orbit. On the other side of the planet, this will burn up in the atmosphere or destroy itself. That's okay. And then I can bring up the next stage and just attach right behind. And don't know if I'll have the fuel. I'll have the fuel tanks there, but it probably won't have enough fuel. And then I can just bring up a third ship to do the refueling. I will also have the processing lab and the hitchhiker storage container right here. That's what I'll be doing with that. So I'll have the crew, the 7 Kerbals. I'll have the power, the antenna, the docking port, the research lab, the viewing cupola, and then I'll just have to bring up more fuel and refuel. So on that, I'll have smaller docking ports on the sides that I can just dock and transfer fuel with. That'll be my plan at least. Or maybe I'll do something like this again. We will see. I am going to want lights, like I said. Well, is that going to be... I don't know if the thruster exhaust is going to be effective against these lights. So let me put them off center a bit. Or maybe, you know what, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure I'll see light, and that's all I need. Alright. Okay, back up. Back it up. Come on, back it up. This works a lot better in full screen. Okie dokie, so getting this beast into orbit will be tricky. We're going to need a tremendous amount of fuel. I've done the math, and by I've done the math I mean I haven't done any math, and determined what I need to get this into orbit. I need some strong boosters and a lot of luck. This is probably overkill. You know, maybe I can do this entire thing in just one trip. Well, what's the fun in that? Let's see. Let's use something a little bit larger. Whoops. Alright. I have no idea how well this is going to work. But why don't we give it a try? Just trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. I have power. I have batteries and solar panels. I don't really care about the fuel cells. And we may or may not succeed in getting into orbit. So far, so good. We're going up. It's always a good thing. Our liquid fuel boosters are running out of fuel faster than our main stage. Oh, I did not do that right. I suppose. I'm not doing any kind of onion staging, asparagus staging. There's no fuel lines. Whoops. There's no fuel lines coming in from the outside in. I'm going to want to rotate just because when I detach these boosters, I don't want anything falling into the ship. And I feel like, with my luck, they would. They would fall right in. Alright, let's try to turn over a little bit more. So far, this is a very, very stable launch. Not known for stable launches. So I appreciate it, that it's going well. Yeah, this is very, very overpowered. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, no. Disable those temperature gauges. Alright, I'm going to turn on SAS. And there go those boosters. A thing of beauty. Alright, we'll set a target for 90 kilometers. And we can probably decouple. Deploy. Look at that. Oh, that is it. Those are humongous. I don't know what I was expecting. But I definitely can't exit. The crew hatch is indeed blocked. That's okay, we will be able to transfer internally. Not like it really matters. This should be a breeze to get this into orbit. "91, 87, that's totally fine. Maybe I will leave these... I can't because of the docking port. Maybe I'll leave it in orbit, and then I can still dock with it. Maybe what I can do is have a setup where there's one docking port on one end, another on the other end, and we're just using RCS and or radial thrusters of some sort. And this can be pretty much half the fuel that we need. Okay, let's activate here. Okay, we are officially orbiting Kerbin. Now, with no means to control this, this might be weird. Let's go ahead and let's leave it attached for now. Oh, the crew hatch is not obstructed any longer. I guess these are going to rotate away from the sun. So my solar panels will rotate to be indirect sunlight, and my radiators will rotate automatically to be perpendicular to the sun so they receive as little light as possible. Fair enough. And what does Stella's view look like? Beautiful. How tiny the planet looks. Alright, so I'm going to leave this attached for now, and as I bring the next vessel up, I might just detach and try to dock here and then dock here. I don't know. I haven't really thought this through, this design. Okay. So there's 2, plus the 1 is 3, and 7. So we're going to need, if we have a full orange tank, we will have all the fuel we need. Let's bring up the RCS. We will need some battery power. But we don't really need solar panels. We're not going to be using up nearly... There's a lot of power here, and we won't be using it all up until... Well, we'll be docked long before we need it. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Long before we need to recharge the battery. Alright. Okay. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring up the service bay with this vessel because you can easily fit a probe inside of it. And one of the last things I have yet to unlock is the larger 2.5 meter probe body. So I guess what I can do is, even though it's a little hideous, is just attach a probe body. And then, oops, make that my root part. Empty crew cabins. Thanks for telling me. Let's have, I don't know, maybe 2 scientists. And then we're going to want a couple of engineers and probably a few scientists. Maybe 3 engineers. No. Okay, so we'll try to fit this end and this end in between what we already have up there. Yes, none of these matter to me. So I guess we can try the same, as well, try the same design. It seemed to have plenty of capabilities to get into orbit. I don't really care about how much fuel I use or waste. And I'm getting to the end of this save file. It's kind of wearing out its usefulness for me. This is still my first career file since 1.0. What I want to end up doing is unlocking the rest of the tech tree, which I'm getting very close to that, and hopefully finishing my mission to Elu, which is not the best designed monstrosity out there. And I will play that sometime, I just don't know when. Alright, I'm going to do something I don't normally do and bring up a lot of extra thrusters. I don't know how it will affect my RCS usage, if it makes it faster or not, because it might be quite painful to try to dock. Fair enough. Space. Spell it right. Space Station. This is gonna sound crazy. 2. Space Station 2. Let me change the title because I'm not doing anything with asteroids. Change the title to Building a Space Station. Okay. Save again, launch. If anyone out there has any requests on what my friend and I can do on our dual stream later on in the day, if you have any ideas you want us to try out, oh, I didn't put control surfaces. Maybe I won't need them. But yeah, feel free to comment in the chat box. You want us to go to the moon, the mohole, a lunar arch maybe, which I've never done. Find something on Eve, Duna, Jewel. Just let us know. Suggestions are welcome. You know what would have been smart is maybe waiting for the right moment to launch, because this is ahead of us and we kind of want it behind us. What just happened? What just happened? I have no idea what happened. Alright, let's revert, add some control surfaces, wait a little while, and then launch. And we'll do the same thing we did last time. 2 of these and 4 of these. Oh, I just want to give a congratulations to Billy Kirby on completing his mission. He's the second ever to have a 28-match win streak on FTL on hard difficulty. Good job, Billy. And good luck with your attempt at 56. I think you can do it. And I'm very grateful for finally being named as one of the crew on his ship. I was there from the beginning to the end, And he was the reason I did not stream anything last night. Even though I'm sure no one will hear this, I'm still grateful. And I'm very excited that he plans on continuing his adventures in FTO. I will be streaming that in the future again. I've learned a lot from him, and I've been able to actually win some games on easy just by using some of his strategies. Whether or not he came up with them is irrelevant. I learned them from him. So, appreciate it. And they were the highest I saw. Whoops. Whoa. Don't like that. The highest I saw, there were about 80 viewers, and when I subscribed to his channel, there were a lot less than that. A lot fewer. About 30 to 35. Alright, let's try a little bit better setup with this bearing. That's too wide. That's ridiculous. Can we bring it in just a little bit? No, just a little? No. There we go. That should be quite aerodynamic. I don't know if it needs to be. I don't know if it makes much of a difference or not. But let's do a quick save. Okay, and this is what I forgot to do last time. And the time before. Let's try to make it a little easier on ourselves. Alright. A little more thrust this time. Hopefully we'll get some added stability with those extra struts I added. And it'll be hopefully enough to keep us from exploding on our way up and tearing ourselves apart. But we really don't want to flip over. No! Please don't do that. Okay, so I see what the issue is. I don't want to use this fuel because we need to have a little bit more top heaviness or whatever. So let's disable it completely, and that way, if the game works the way I think it should and does, that fuel will always stay up there. And we won't become bottom heavy, and maybe we can maintain stability. Let's just go full thrust. Let's try to get up there as quickly as possible. I kind of wish I could see if the fuel... I'm assuming it's still in there. It should be. Oh, we are pushing this to the limit. And it is responding quite well. We are... Come on, go away. Stop doing what you're doing. Oh, I didn't wait this time. Okay, so I promise you, at one point in my life, I was good at doing launches. Not going so steep or nearly steep enough. I swear I was good at it. Fly off and burn up. Okay. So... how do I want to do this? Alright, we will... The problem is that I don't want to dock at night. Well, we have lights. That'll be fine. We're going to circularize. And then we'll set up the maneuver node at night to dock. We'll see how it goes. Approaching orbital velocity. And then we can do some science, even though we've already done all the science we can do in orbit. I don't think I'm going to do this maneuver. But my other option requires going so slow that we don't come anywhere near to orbiting the planet. So we can do this. 8.5, and at our descending node we can adjust. And we can just do this with our normal launch stage, it won't be an issue. So let's see if we can't aim the ship towards our maneuver node, and we'll turn the lights off to conserve some battery power. We can also generate it with this engine, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. Okay, let's time warp until we're ready to burn. We fall towards the planet and miss. Alright, we got off track a bit, but that's okay. $25. We'll make final adjustments on this side. So descending node, we want to do an ascending maneuver. And really, we don't even need a maneuver node. Alright, so let's talk about the ELU mission that I'm doing. For those of you who don't know, which is probably both of you, I've been trying to send a lot of astronauts over to ELU, and I have a full setup with a refinery and scanner and everything you need, all the science, all the utilities that you would need except for lights, which I forgot, and radiators, which weren't in the game when I designed the ship. And there's one docking node in the center. And so I sent them all to Minmus, and I would send the refinery down to the planet and refuel it, and bring up all the fuel and ore, and dock and transfer over to the rest of the ship. And I did that at Minmus, and then I took it all the way out to Ike, and did some more there, and then I took it to Dres, where I've been refueling at Dres. I don't have a hook, I can't clamp onto the Drestroids, which is unfortunate because I wouldn't have to separate it at all. It'd be very convenient to be able to just drill on a Drestroid. But the drill parts, they just kind of clip through the asteroid. It's a little irritating, but what are you going to do? So, once I'm refueled at Dres, I'm going to take the whole thing to ELU, and the plan is to mine more at ELU and bring the whole thing back. Just with the way it's designed, though, it's very, very slow going. I have many trips to take to refuel. It is a monstrosity. It does orbit hideously. Okay. 11.8, that's not good enough. 8.4. No. 7.8. I really want to be on the same plane as much as I possibly can here. Because I want to be able to get as close as possible. 15.8 kilometers. 17.1. I'm struggling to understand why this isn't getting closer. Alright. .1. Okay. Well, let's go with that. That seems to be a pretty solid approach. My periapsis on the node I was designing was too far out. This is pretty difficult to turn, but that's alright. We've used up a quarter of our battery charge. I'm not concerned with that. It'll be a lot easier to turn when we drop this entire launch stage. Okay. And we'll burn in, I don't know, with maybe 5 seconds to go until the node. It doesn't really matter. So like I said, the ELU mission, I will be working on that sometime this weekend. Maybe after I finish it. In fact, unless this dual stream happens soon, I will be working on that after the space station is assembled. Point 4. Okay. Let's warp ahead. As our battery power slowly drains. Maybe I should do something about that. So what we're going to do here is burn retrograde to our target, which should be retrograde to the orbit because we're going to be matching orbits, and then docking. It's going to be the most exciting thing you've seen in the last 30 minutes or so, unless you've seen something moderately exciting, in which case it'll be the second most exciting thing you've seen. Or are we out of fuel? Of course we are. Why wouldn't we be? Decouple node. And let's try to do this with RCS, if we can. Which we can't. Well, what we can do is switch and try to catch up, dock from this direction. And Cicella really seems to like that idea. Whoopsie. Alright, so we're going to go around the planet again. And we will dock on this side. No, we won't. Let's stop that. I'm not really sure why that had to change, but it wanted to change. That's not cool. Not cool, Kerbal Space Program. You gave me an intersection that you didn't really mean. You lied to me. Alright, this'll be fine. And we have a lot of fuel here. More than enough. What was that all about? Why on earth did my spacecraft just destroy itself? Honestly, can anyone explain why a spacecraft would just tear itself apart for no reason? It's not like the docking node just detached. It tore off the docking node I already had on there. That makes absolutely no sense. Of course. Why would it have saved when I did a quick save? It didn't. Alright, so this mission is completely retarded right now. Remember when I did that quick save on the launch pad? I said, and it's in the video, I should do a quick save. Nope, didn't take. Well, in that case, I'm going to just bring up, in one try, the space station. Yeah, sure it exists. That's why there's no save file for it. That's why I can't quick load. So this is the not-so-fun version of this contract. Yeah, I have no idea why the vessel I created just tore itself apart. It just destroyed itself for no reason. There's no reasonable idea why it would have done that. I mean, I could see if I was putting too much stress on the docking node that it would just undock itself, but I would still have had the docking port attached. I don't even care who I hire anymore. I'm pretty upset about that. It just didn't make any sense at all. Oh wow, I don't even have the contract to make it. And I'm sure it won't even be here, will it? Okay, it is here. Viewing Cupola Research Lab has to support 7 Kerbals. Antenna, docking port, power generation. I should probably bring an antenna. And then 4,000 units of liquid fuel. That's really a shame. That was going quite well. There was a little bit of a hiccup for a while, but nothing that couldn't have easily been overcome. There's your antenna. It doesn't even... I already returned that asteroid. That's what the quick load was. It showed me after I had returned the asteroid. Well, if I have any trouble with this, with not having that 4,000 fuel, I can send up a second craft. I mean, I should have 4,000 fuel. And if not, then I'll be really close to it. I could send up a very small vessel and be fine. And I already know this design will work. Come on, I selected you. Be selected. Attach, please. Yes, I want that to be my last stage. That's what I want. Okay. We may as well put a fairing on here. I'm not sure what's more irritating. Is it the spaceship with the unplanned disassembly, or is it the quick load which didn't quick load to the most recent save file, which caused me to lose a tremendous amount of gameplay? And to lose something I had already worked hard to accomplish. Maybe I should just never quick load again and just revert or send a recovery mission and just relaunch the same vessel again. Of course, why wouldn't we topple over? Okay. I mean, I have absolutely no control over this thing. Give me control back. Please ascend into space. And I wish these temperature gauges, since they don't work, and there's a memory leak, they could easily be disabled by default. I'm not sure why the developers don't make that change if they can't fix the memory leak. I don't know, maybe the memory leak has been fixed. I don't feel like doing this. I'm going to relaunch. Revert to launch. Oops. Let's rotate first. As you can see, I'm losing patience. I should probably maintain patience and things could go better. Come on. Let's separate these stages out. Holy moly, man. 2 seconds of looking away, and I'm just trying to go the wrong direction altogether. Alright. Please detach. And fall away. So we should have more than enough fuel once we're finally in orbit. And I can frustrate myself with a different mission instead. That was going so well. Unplanned separation. It's not like I was in the atmosphere. There wasn't any friction to cause the ship to tear itself apart. Yeah, how exciting is this space station? This is way more lame than the one I had designed. This isn't even a space station, it's just a rocket that's orbiting perpetually until I bring it back. And I won't have enough fuel after all. So I will have to dock. Alright. So we're going to bring it around to right about here. Maybe here. And then we're going to go back to the Space Center. So we're going to need an additional 900 fuel or so. So we're going to call this the Space Station Refueler. Maybe I should put a / exploder because you never know what's going to happen. And we'll give it a nice docking port. Holding Alt helps center it. And give it a reaction wheel. Come on. And we'll give it some monopropellant. Please give it monopropellant. And of course, we're going to need light because I almost always just end up docking in the dark, just the way it ends up happening. And we're going to want some batteries. Come on. Alt means duplicate. Okay. Toggle panels. Toggle panels. Alright, so for fuel, we only need the liquid fuel. So really what we can do is bring up several of these liquid fuel tanks just to have them and to transfer fuel. And then yeah, I'm going to want to be able to decouple these. We won't need a whole lot of thrust, so the Terrier will be fine. And we can put struts, because struts are always good. Alright. Okay, we will be launching soon. Let me just get a launch stage. I think the skipper will be just fine here. I'm going to bring up some extra RCS just in case. I'm not sure if 250 will be enough. In theory it would be, if I was good at what I'm trying to do, but as you can see, when things don't go right, that can be an issue. Alright, let's get some boosters. I think the thumpers will be fine. And let's get some control surfaces and some launch clamps, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay. I hope I brought the right size docking port. Maybe the skipper isn't strong enough to get this vessel up. See if these little Terriers can help. It doesn't really matter how we get this thing into orbit, we just need to get it into orbit. Boy, this is just so hard to control. It's so wobbly when I have SAS enabled. But it really just wants to flip out without it. Alright, I'm going to try to get rid of this bottom state as quickly as I can. I'm going to transfer fuel forwards. As hideous as this is going, I think we can manage. Though I don't like the way it just switches into target mode automatically. I can do it manually. I'm still trying to get into orbit. I kind of need this orbital mode enabled. So we're easily going to get into orbit. And I'd like to say I'm not surprised, but I am surprised with the way that launch started. We are behind the space station. So we can try to set our orbit a little bit lower. But it's at 70 and 100, so we can try to do... Well, our apoapsis is going to be 85. But if we can set our periapsis right at 70 or 71, we will catch up on it. These radiators really do deploy quickly. Quick saving. See, you can see it in the corner here. I've proven that I've quick saved. Just in case things go wrong. So we're trying to get some logistics set up for how this dual stream is going to work right now. If you can hear my phone texting back and forth, that's what that is. I know I'm a little bit past the descending node, but I'd like to get that as close to 0 as possible. That's fine. Although in doing so, I brought my apoapsis up a lot higher than I wanted. So 82 will be my apoapsis. Okay. So at this point we'll be 166 and 45, so we are catching up indeed. I was trying to see what went wrong with this asteroid contract that I finished. Quick saved before I had finished it, and then I quick saved on the previous mission. For some reason, Kerbal Space Program didn't recognize that quick save, and now I have to find another Class A asteroid. I'm not going to do that. I already did it. I already did the mission, so I'm not going to do it again. You can see the video on YouTube. BenTM99. Alright. There's my YouTube channel. Watch the videos if you want. You'll see me recover this asteroid, and it's done about as well as I could have hoped for. Okay. So we will be making a anti-radial burn. Oh no, a radial burn. Sorry, we'll be making a radial burn when we reach our periapsis. And we will make an encounter on the daytime. We should be able to dock. Transfer the fuel over, and then have our completed space station contract for a bit of extra science. Science that we're looking forward to acquiring in order to continue unlocking the tech tree, which we are almost complete with. Have a little ways to go. And I overdid it a bit, that's okay. Come on, X. I bumped Z to do full thrust. I hit X to cut thrust, but right after I hit it I bumped Z and went full throttle. Okay. If my ship tears itself apart again, I'm gonna just call it a bug. I wouldn't really know what else to do. The Kraken. I don't care for the Kraken. And it doesn't care for me. So we're going to be in target mode, burn retrograde to match orbits, and then we're just going to aim right at it. If I can figure out which way to turn. Because my one viewer deserves to see me actually dock for sticking with it so long. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Oh, 2 viewers. I think one of them is me, though. Okay. Let us dock. I don't think I have lights on here. That's okay. I have lights on the ship I'm controlling. That's all I really need. So we can use RCS to accelerate towards it. We don't need to be going very quickly. We just need to target a docking port, which we will be able to see as we approach it. And like many others, I find this docking mode useless. I don't really understand how it works. Forward, down, left, and right. Forward, down. We have up, down. Here we have forward and down. Not forward and backwards, forward and down. What do you have down here? Left and right. It doesn't make sense to me. And having a plus in the middle, what's the point of that? I don't understand that. So I dock with the best, in my opinion, the best tool you can use for docking, eyesight. It's something common to animals, most animals, if not all animals, that isn't found in plants, and that's eyes. Eyes are really great for which you can see things, and then you can see where you're trying to dock. It's unbelievable how well that works. Oh look, there's a docking port. Why don't we set that as our target? I don't need a nav ball either. Actually, the nav ball can help, but it can also get in the way. I know how far the space station is, you can see right here. So I know when I'm approaching and when I'm not approaching. And you can turn the camera around to get a nice 360-degree view. Little bits at a time. Yeah, I don't think I needed that extra RCS. That were monopropellant. That's okay though. Having it isn't a bad thing. It's not like that was the reason why things were wanting to flip over on the launch. I might be destroying this hatch, or this this solar panel, but there are plenty of others, so it doesn't matter. Oh, apparently I'm a lot closer than I realized I was. So I can just turn off stability and RCS and let it dock. There we go. And there's my 4,000 liquid fuel. I don't really have to transfer it over. But I want to, so I'm going to... Oh, that went very quickly. And there you have it, a completed contract. Build a new orbital station around Kerbin. And the next thing to do would be to bring up another vessel to dock, one that can bring the crew back, and one that also has parachutes, so the crew can safely return to Kerbin eventually. So, going to the Space Center. And we've got a whopping, what, 15 signs, 20 signs for that?
Oh,
14 signs. So we still don't have the science that we need. To unlock the next part of our tech tree. So we have everything unlocked except for the best probe body you can get, and the larger version of that, and also the RTG, radioisotope thermoelectric generator. So I want to take a look at this vessel here and just see where it's at in relation to the asteroid that I already returned to orbit. Maybe I can do this contract again. If you want to see the full video of this, it is on YouTube. A lot of that video, it kept disconnecting. I know there have been problems with Twitch lately. And some of the videos, there were like 3 or 4 that ended up being recorded from one stream. And I only put one on, I think the others you could still watch on Twitch, but there's this horrible echo. I ordered a new microphone. It's going to be in Monday or Tuesday from Amazon. But until then, I'm just using the built-in microphone on this laptop screen. And I had muted my volume, but I didn't mute the Twitch volume, which was picking up my voice and then playing it through Twitch and then picking it up again. So there's a delay. You can hear me talk over myself. It's just ridiculous. I don't know how it did that with no volume coming out of my speakers. I guess it was set up to have an audio capture, but what are you going to do about that? It's already recorded. So with this new microphone I have, and there's a headset coming with it, things should be a lot better as far as audio quality goes, assuming I can finally set it up the right way, which shouldn't really be a problem. Just a little more trial and error. So when I finish this, which should only take a few minutes, I'm going to see how this live stream is going to go, see if we can't get the logistics of it set up. And then, if not, I'll work on the Elu mission, or check for new contracts, see if anything looks interesting. Otherwise, we're going to live stream some event. I'm not quite sure what. A dual live stream with myself and Al18267. Please subscribe to me and my channel, and also to him and his channel. We're going to try to do the same mission as one another. And since he only recently, like earlier today, started a career mode, he's been doing some sandbox and maybe a little science. He doesn't have nearly the same tech tree as I have. Okay, so we're attached. And then we just need to burn retrograde in the orbit. This is a very strange orbit I'm seeing. Okay, I understand. So I just want to earn the science for this contract again, since I've been having trouble with my quick save not actually saving. I mean, it's possible I didn't press the button. I remember pressing it, and I can always check the video again and see if it says quick saving down here in the corner, then I won't know what happened. Okay, we are in orbit. Once again. And that's going to be fine. Okay. Another 14 science. We may actually have enough science to unlock the best probe in the game. And there it is. Alright. So let me check with Al18267, see if he's streaming, see if he's ready to go. He's not streaming right now. So I just sent him a text message and we'll see what he wants to do. In the meantime, I will be, if not now then later, continuing on here. So why don't we look at some contracts? I'm looking for science. I do want to go to lathe, so maybe we should work on something in lathe. It'd be nice to have a space plane that can go to lathe. We could also do a satellite launch. I haven't done one of those in a while. Those go quickly. We could do some gravimetric scans at Minmus. Let's add this. I do have a probe out at Moho. Unfortunately, there's no grappling hook on it. And I don't know how much delta V there is. I don't know if I could get back or not. I don't think I can even land on Moho, so probably not. And then I want to do this satellite, too. Hello. I don't understand French. I assume that's French. I hope so, otherwise I look like a fool. I'll probably do anyways. Hi everyone, my game's when I... something train station. Construct maybe? I don't know. Hello! Okay, let's launch this satellite. Let's build it and then launch it. We want a gravioli detector. And that's it. So, we're not going to do a whole lot here. We will give it some stability. Actually, we don't even need that much stability. Put the gravioli detector right on top. And let's have some very basic radiators here. Okay. Satellite. I did not look at the orbit, what the orbit needs to be. So we'll look at that when we're on the launch pad. It really shouldn't be anything too difficult. It is orbiting Kerbin, or it will be orbiting Kerbin. So we're just going to use the hammer as our booster. And we can bring it down a lot lower. Okay. Whoops. And we don't really need 4, it's just kind of hard to design this without 4 based on where the boosters are. Alright, that should be fine. Okay, so depending on our eccentricity, I believe it's called, what plane we're going to be on, will determine if we can launch immediately or if we have to wait until we're lined up to launch. Oh, that's really tall. So as long as we're lined up with the ascending and descending node, which we're pretty close to, we could probably launch. Where are we here? Right around here should be fine. Probably a lot more thrust than we need for now. So I'm just going to launch due east, and I'll make any plane changes later on. And let's topple a bit, see what happens with that. That was kind of strange. Hear that explosion down there? I can't hear it. I swear to you, at one point I could do decent launches. I promise. I have not heard back yet, so I don't know what this... We may not end up doing a dual live stream after all. We will see. Not the best place to quick save, but every time I quick save I feel like that previous quick save theoretically should be pushed back further so that when I do quick load I won't be going too far back. Alright, we don't really need that much time to our apoapsis, so we can try to flatten out now. Really, we really want to pick up speed as much as we can with this stage. We want to get that out, but we do want that apoapsis out there pretty far. So why don't we just aim prograde after all? Okay. I don't even have the antenna that I need on this. But I do have the delta V to get where I need to go. So why don't we bring it back around and just crash it, because you should always see explosions when someone's streaming Kerbal Space Program. And then instead of reverting, we'll just bring it back, let it explode, and go... Instead of launching it again, we'll go to the vehicle assembly building and actually put an antenna on it. That'll be fun. It's getting quite violent. Ooh, look at that! So instead of putting it in orbit without the antenna, I just didn't see the point. Kablooey. And no one died. There's our antenna. See, this checklist is not showing me the one thing I am concerned with, which is not having the antenna. Not that I used it, I didn't use the checklist, but it's not entirely accurate based on the terms of the contract. That would be something nice to implement. Why not throw some extra tail fins on here? Maybe that'll help a little bit with stability on our way up. Getting through that first 10 kilometers as quickly as possible. And you can see the antenna. How quaint. We do want to pick up speed as much as we can with this stage. We want to get our apoapsis as high as we can. I mean, we don't want to exceed 3.58 million kilometers or million meters, but we do want to get it up there. Okay. At this point, I'd say circularize if that was the right term, but it isn't. Because we want our apoapsis at 4.41 thousand kilometers. I'm sorry, 4.14. So right there should be fine. Just over 500 meters per second to burn. Which it seems like a lot, but with how lightweight this craft is, it's a 13-second burn, and we're really not going to use all that much fuel doing it. We'll have way more than we need. Oh, that's the wrong way. Okay, so we're going to warp ahead, make our plane change, and then we can fine tune as needed. And that should be close enough. Remember, the further out you are, the easier it is, the less fuel you need to make a plane change. The further you are out from your orbiting body. So we'll warp ahead and move our periapsis and apoapsis to where they need to be. And that was a little too far, so we can burn. There we go. Oh look, and we've already gotten close enough where they're calling it good. Contract complete. So, satellite contracts typically quite easy as long as you bring the antenna that you need and all the equipment that you need. They are pretty simple. Let's go, come on. Yeah, it didn't finish transmitting the data, but that was 0 science, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, well, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break now, so I'm going to stop the stream. But I do appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. And I will be back online later on today. Stay classy.